What's up, my friends in film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. Let's see, we've got Stranger Things going. There's, creatures from the upside down causing chaos in rural Indiana. Now, why wouldn't we go to some post-apocalyptic bullshit where we can watch ghouls and mutated cockroaches and, dainty little girls that were locked up in vaults for their entire lives? Why wouldn't we go to that? Because, whatever, one end of the spectrum to the other. I feel like that we're probably gonna end up feeling terrible about the world after we get done watching all this shit. But hey, it's good. It's good TV. We're having a lot of fun watching it. And yes, we are going to be breaking down episode 1, season 2 of Fallout. And who else would I do it with? But my hero life mate Jeremy. What's up, brother?
We're back. We're so back. It feels like we never left. I'm beyond excited. This gives me some questions, some things to think about, and it didn't really answer the big question that I have, but I don't think they're going to do that, or if they are, there is a way around it.
What's episode 1?
That here in a second. I know.
It's episode 1. Give it time. Give it time.
I'm not saying it's just continuity stuff. I know we're all curious as to how this relates to the game, but I don't think they're gonna. If what I heard was true, it's kind of an interesting way to do it. But yeah, no. So everybody pull up your chair and get your flea soup out and spend an evening with us. We'll talk about that was so nasty. We'll talk about some Fallout. Oh yeah,
it's probably low carb. It's keto. It's keto.
It's protein, I think.
Yeah, I think something. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. It's got to be at least low carb, if nothing else. Oh. But we are, of course, here to talk about Fallout Season 2, Episode 1. The title is The Innovator. And let's get right into it. Again, we're going to structure these a little bit differently than the movie reviews because we're following a much longer narrative here. Let's kind of start out with the very first scene, the opening scene, which I thought was kind of fun, kind of exciting. It sees Walton Goggins. I thought I had a picture of him actually hung up there, but I guess not. It starts out with Walton Goggins, who is in a precarious situation. He's been captured by some other ne'er-do-wells. What are they called?
The Great Cons.
The Great Cons. Okay.
Genghis Khan.
Way more.
I got the notes. Trust me.
But yeah, he has apparently been caught. I assume intentionally that he allowed them to catch him, but it's all part of a plan that him and Lucy have concocted to do whatever they were doing. That opening scene is a lot of fun. It was kind of a great way to kind of dip our toe back into this world before we started getting into the really deeper story stuff that would come later in the episode. What do you think of the opening scene? I thought it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it's I figured they would do it. I know it's fan service, but we don't give a shit. You love seeing Darth Vader walk down that hallway and just lay waste to those rebel soldiers. When you see this, obviously, if you know, if you know, Lucy's up there posted up in Dinky the Dinosaur, which is, in fact, a sniper's outpost in the game, in the little city of Novak, which is a little settlement that's based in in an abandoned hotel, which I don't know why you guys saw him, my buddy Chris, who was here to break down the trailer a couple weeks ago. I don't know why it took him that long to realize. I'm like, you know why it's called Novak, right? It's a no vacancy sign that fell apart. The town's called Novak. He's like, oh my God. I'm like, right? Shit just blows your mind. But yeah, it was a fun scene. It introduces you to some of the factions that we're going to come across, because there are quite a few of them in New Vegas, especially in this Mojave Wasteland. So we've already seen the Great Cons. They're one of them. I'm sure we'll come across we've seen some guys in the Jailhouse Rock Elvis looking outfits. So that's gonna be the Kings. We'll see some of them. We've seen in the end when you see coming for the rest of the season, you see Legion soldiers. I'm sure we'll see some NCR. But starting with the Cons is kind of an interesting way to go. To let them. They're trying to follow the trail of breadcrumbs here to find Lucy's dad. It was a cool scene, and like I said, I know it's again. I'm circling back. I know it's fan service, but damn it, when he comes down and then you start playing some Marty Robbins, you start playing some Big Iron, and him just laying waste to everybody. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what we want right there. It's goddamn. If that's not a good way to start off, man, I don't know what is. That's really cool. And we're glad to see Lucy still trying to, her naivety is still kind of there, and she's trying those speech options, but it's not exactly working. But we all want to believe we're Lucy, but when we play the games, trust me, you're playing as the ghoul. You just don't give a shit, and you just put holes in people, as you do. Yeah.
I thought it was a fantastic opening to this episode, a fantastic way to kind of dive back into the world after a year or so after the first season ended in our time. It does remind us exactly who these two main characters are. I am interested to see how Lucy's character is going to change and evolve over the course of this season, because one of the things that I think was interesting about this scene is that she's trying desperately to hold on to who she believes she is, everything that she feels that she is in her DNA. She's trying to still be that Lucy that exists in Vault 33. I don't know how this journey that she's on is going to affect her and change her outlook. I'm glad to see that she's trying to hold on to some of it, but because I feel like that's the one thing that's going to separate her from everybody else in this world, is nobody else that we've seen anyway really has that sense of compassion. Maybe a couple of people that are still in the vault trying to deal with some of the shit that's going on in there, but because her brother's going through her own thing, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But I mean, everybody out here in the world, out in the wasteland, they're not going to be as nice and bubbly and naive and kind as she is. So to see her contrast against that is going to be interesting, and I'm wondering how much she's going to change, how much she's going to try to hold on to it, how much the directors are going to say, okay, we're going to let her kill somebody. I have a feeling she's going to kill somebody at some point, probably this season. And I don't know the games as well as you do, but I have a feeling that it's going to come. And I am curious as to how she's going to react when she finally crosses past with her dad. Because if I were her, I would just, there would be the pew pew, and that'd be it. I'd just be done with it, especially after the events of the last episode of season 1. But I am glad to see that there is this dichotomy between the ghoul and her. They are kind of they are kind of an odd couple in this weird post-apocalyptic world where the caps of a soda bottle have become currency.
As it happens.
Yeah, I love the difference, the polar opposite of these two characters. And while they may be kind of on the same path right now, I know they're not generally after the same thing. But it just happens that their paths coincide to get them to where they're individually going. But yeah, I thought it was a great opening scene. It was funny. Dude, Walton Goggins is just awesome at everything. I gush about him, and like Righteous Gemstones. He's fantastic in that. I've been watching Vice Principals off and on lately, an episode here and there. He is so stinking talented. I cannot understand. I mean, I'm glad to see that he's getting bigger and bigger, and he's getting more stuff, because he is just so talented and everything. But obviously the journey that they're both on is, like I said, different paths, but they just happen to be aligned right now. Lucy is definitely following her dad Hank's footsteps, trying to figure out exactly why he was doing what he's doing, what it's all about, trying to get some answers to a lot of questions that were posed to her towards the end of last season. What do you think about the way they've been going about that, at least in this first episode? Do you think this is the first couple of steps down this path are going in the right direction?
Yeah, it seems like Lucy, like we said, Lucy and the ghoul seem to they have a common denominator here, which is, of course, Hank McLean, which is Lucy's dad. I guess either way, Lucy and the ghoul are both looking for their family, in essence. I mean, she's looking for her dad, and he's trying to figure out what the hell happened to his wife and his daughter. I guess assuming that they're still alive, or in some capacity. I don't know. I mean, he survived probably in the kind of in one of the more unfortunate ways that people survive this this world is by being a ghoul and having been alive for like the last 200 plus years. So yeah, it seems like that's we're narrowing down that, like, okay, we got to find this guy, because he knows more than he's let on, at least in this past season, or at least season 1, and then into now. We did see a little bit more of what maybe what he's kind of got going on up his sleeve, but that's I'm sure we'll get to that part. You're trying to find a needle in a haystack. I mean, that's kind of kind of the point of these games. You're looking for like one specific person, and actually, this is kind of like Fallout 3, where you're looking for your dad who's missing. You're trying to find one person in this whole wasteland. So, good luck to you. You gotta see where the path leads you, and it may lead you through some wild shit, through a wild wasteland. And that's a joke for the people who play the game. You know exactly what I'm talking about when I say wild wasteland. I think we technically saw a wild wasteland item in this episode, which we'll get to that. Yeah, following the breadcrumbs, like I said, radiated breadcrumbs or sugar bombs. Actually, it was the sugar bomb cereal. like ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Like the ground crunched and shit. Rachel's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "That cereal look like Cheerios," and I'm like, "Actually, in this world, it's called sugar bombs." Next frame, boom, sugar bombs on the table. I'm like, there it is.
There we go. Yeah, that's because you're a Fallout nerd. You already know half of what's going anyway.
I know. And I'm like, wow, it's illuminated in broad, like in open in the middle of the room. I'm like, that's a trap. That's a fucking trap if I ever saw
With the one light pointing right at it, I was like, yeah, that's not a setup or anything.
That's the mission critical item. It's right there. Don't touch it, please, because God, if there's one thing in Fallout as well, there's traps fucking everywhere. There's mines, tripwires, grenade bouquets, which is exactly what it sounds like. Yeah, sometimes it's you gotta watch where you're stepping, or get the light step perk. And trust me, you won't trip landmines. It's a handy little thing to have.
But yeah, I'm very interested with how they're parallel paths. I mean, because obviously Walton Goggins is trying to figure out A, if his family's alive, B, where they're at, and C, there's going to be a conversation with him and his wife at some point, which I think is cool. That's actually the more intriguing storyline to me right now, because I mean, as it stands, Lucy knows that her dad's alive. Lucy knows Hank's alive. She's just after him to get more answers. She could be obviously
finding out who you thought he was.
Yeah, finding out what happened to her mom in the last episode of season 1. What did Dad know about it? He obviously kind of shows his ass and shows that he was not exactly a good guy kind of at all in the last episode of season 1. So now she's after him to the way I see it from her point of view is to either connect with him and figure out exactly why, because if I were her, I'd want to know the why, or simply to put him down and make sure that he pays appropriately for his crimes. But the more intriguing storyline is Walton Goggins and his wife. I'm assuming her and his kid are still alive. I don't feel like there's much of a story if they're not. But also exactly where did all this go? Because it does show various points in this episode. They're trying to recruit him to spy on her and the company to get information, and whether he agrees to do it or not, nobody really knows. But that storyline is the one that's more interesting to me right now, because I think that's the far more emotional storyline, and it's Walton Goggins, and I think he's awesome and everything. So that's the one that's really that I'm really into right now. But let's move on to her brother Norm, who is he's in a situation of his own. He popped into this vault where all these vault managers, is that what they're called? The
buds.
Yeah. Well, they're all basically in.
They were all
storage.
The high-ranking.
Yeah,
the high-ranking people in the cryo freeze. Yeah.
Yeah, they're basically in cold storage. They're on frozen lockdown, and he gets trapped there by the brain on a Roomba, whatever the hell he is. But but yeah, he's trapped in there now, and he makes a pretty interesting decision as to how he wants to handle his situation. Once I saw it playing out, I was like, that's kind of brilliant. What do you think about the situation that he's in and the decision he ultimately makes to try to either push this to critical mass or just suffer through it?
Yeah, I mean, he only kind of has like maybe 2 or 3 options here as the I don't even know if I want to call it a robo brain, because I think that's what they're called in the game. That's kind of the same idea. You see a couple of those, especially in one of the DLCs for Vegas. I'm trying to remember which one it is. I don't know if it's Mothership Zeta. I mean, aliens exist in this world flat out. So I mean, that's also a thing. just hear me out. But yeah, now that he's kind of stumbled upon this, now he's kind of in a rock and a hard place. kind of playing this like mental chess with this brain in a jar, basically. I know he's trying to stay a couple steps ahead of this thing, because either it's like this thing doesn't need to live, this brain in a jar. Really, he's like, I'm not bound to a human body, so he's like, I could just wait you out, and you're just gonna starve in here, and then for what, or he keeps telling him, like, you could get inside the cryopod that was his father's, which again, Hank McLean, they let him out. But that, and especially knowing, Fallout 4, it's like, you don't know what's going to happen if you go in there and get put into a cryosleep, and then you wake up God knows when, or if you wake up at all. So it's not like that's really a viable option. I do like that he picks door C, basically, which is like, all right, well, what if I just, turn off everyone's cryopod and let them out? And I guess the brain hadn't really thought about that. Didn't expect them to go that route. But that's kind of an intriguing thing to me, because I'm wondering, like, okay, if Hank was the only one I think that was actually out, and the rest of them, Bud's buds that were all in there, all the other high-ranking people from, I believe they're from Vault-Tec. I don't know how many times they've been actually let out, because I think the brain said they're usually let out once every like 30 years or something, to kind of like to do the rounds there with those 3 vaults that are connected. So that's, if they haven't been out in the last like 30 some years, I guess they haven't, I don't know. I would wonder if they're on his side, or like maybe what he's going to tell them, or what they might know, because there's a wealth of knowledge there that these people, probably know about. So letting that loose into the world is going to be kind of interesting. I think when I saw the coming soon on the rest of the season, I think I saw them outside. So I'm like, well, that would also be kind of insane if all these vault dwellers got outside, especially those the important people. I don't know. That's an intriguing storyline.
Educate me about the brain Roomba, the R2 dickwad here. Those are from the games, right? Those are in the games, right? Okay, so exactly, is that a particular person that is going to be important, or has been important, or is that just a random person whose brain was attached to whatever this machine?
It's funny. I think the captions gave it away. I think it was saying that was Bud himself. I think all these Bud, they're all called Bud's buds. There were all these people that he kind of, his little secret organization of people, again, Hank included, that were important. I'm trying to remember who in the hell that was. I've got like 3 different like tabs open of like the Fallout wiki, so just bear with me. I've got notes out. Let me look up a robot. There we go. Robo Brain. Okay, well, there are Robo Brains in Fallout, but they're usually so imagine that thing, but it's on like a, it's funny you say R2D2. It's basically a cylindrical tin can body with, they got 2 arms, and they got like triangular like tank treads they roll around on.
So for what it's worth, in the cast listing on IMDb, Michael Esper does the voice, and the character is called Bud Askins / Brain on a Roomba. So
yeah,
that could be Bud.
I was like, I couldn't remember his last name. Like, yeah, I think that is Bud himself. Which kind of makes sense, because then all of the, which again, that is all of his little peons are in the cryopods, still in their human bodies. Yeah, that is a thing. Like, it's kind of almost like a Futurama type thing, where you got people's heads in jars and shit, and it can just kind of exist forever. There's gonna be a lot of like, here's your conscience in some aspect, and it's in this machine. That's one of them. And again, I know we'll get to Mr. House at some point, but that's kind of also why I'm like, this kind of does go hand in hand. Like, that's somebody who, I think, as they said, the reason why Mr. House is so dangerous, because it's like somebody that has the will to live for like 200 plus years is definitely a fucking dangerous man. So, as the ghoul said, nowhere around Mr. House is safe. So, excuse me.
Looking more.
Speaking of Mr. House, I love that scene in the bar when he's talking some shit to those guys, and he goes outside and ends up putting that little device in the back of the guy's neck. He's just like, here's $3 bajillion in the trunk of this car. You can have it if you let me stick this thing in the back of your neck. I was just like, what asshole in their right mind would do that? Obviously, the guy wasn't planning on it, but he gets it in there anyway. And that whole scene was a whole lot of fun. He obviously proves that this thing can be used to control people, but the control is tenuous at best. It's still a work in progress as a device, as he ends up having to, of course, hit a button that splits the guy's wig. But yeah, talking about that scene, how cool it was, how fun it was, and B, how close of a relationship is it to the game, and what does that mean for House going forward? Does that give us an explanation as to what his ends are, rather?
Well, what's kind of funny is that I'm like, that guy is definitely not the same actor that we saw play Mr. House in season 1, and even I think this episode. Well, but even in this episode, they still showed him like we're watching that from Robco. We're watching the guy we saw in season 1 on the TV, and he's watching him in the bar. And I'm like, who is who? What? This is not the same guy. I'm a little confused because, again, it's like he's someone who has planned for every contingency. So I'm wondering, I'm like, is this guy? Because when the bar dickhead comes up to him, he's like, what are you, his biggest fan? I'm like, he could be one of those guys. Could have been doing like a Queen Amidala thing from Star Wars. Like maybe one of them's like a protector, or it could be there's cloning in this fucking. There could be that too. There's synths. There's fake people. Robots that look like humans. I don't know if that's a contingency too that he planned for. Maybe he is the real Mr. House, and that guy was just like a front man or something. Vice versa. I don't know. Or maybe it's a clever way to be like, hey, we needed this guy for one scene to be like, hey, look, Mr. House, see you in season 2. And now we have this guy. I don't know.
I kind of thought that what we saw, the guy sitting behind the Robco placard, was probably just a younger version. And that was my thought at first. And that's why they didn't bother changing the actor or reshooting that scene real quick so you'd have it for this episode. I just thought it was a younger version of him, so I didn't think much about it.
Because I could be wrong, though. And I don't know either. Like I said, I'm not even really knowing. We haven't seen a whole lot of pre-war Mr. House. Like this is if that's him, this is the most we've seen of it. That'd probably be him in his real life. Actually, I think oh God, let me look. I'm gonna look up his birthday. Okay, Mr. House. Mr. House's birthday is June 25th, 2020. In universe, so he's actually like 5 years old right now, which is scary. Yeah, which is kind of scary. So, I figure this guy's probably middle aged. This is probably pretty close to a little bit before the bombs fall and shit. He's still making his little plans. I do like that the guy in the bar was actually, and I recognized him. He's actually from Walking Dead, and he also got his ticket punched by Rick Grimes. So, kind of funny. I was like, yeah. I was still hoping you dropped the same line where Rick's got a gun to his head. He's like, all right, you win, asshole. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how it happens. As for the thing about the game, I was wondering, I'm like, is this like a prelude to I know they're in 3 and 4. I don't know if they're in Vegas, but there are these slave collars that go around people's necks, and they're kind of like the shotgun collar like we saw from Saw. It's just strapped to your neck, locked down. You can't get it off. It doesn't control the person. It's just, it's a control, but not like literally wired into your brain controlling you. Because if you disobey it or you go out of its range, you do something, boom, there goes your noggin. So I don't know. I'm not really sure there's a whole lot about like mind controlling people. So that's kind of a new thing for me. Like I said, there's the slave collars, but as for that, I don't know. That's an interesting bit of tech that we haven't seen. So I'm wondering if, again, there was some sort of... That could also be... Oh, goddamn. Flipping through my notes, I'm sorry. Something that Mr. Trust me, you asked me to come here, and I'm like, I'll give you every angle on this.
There are Securitrons that roll around New Vegas that you can, if you give Mr. House the platinum chip, which is in the game. This is a game thing. He can basically upload his consciousness into all these robots and basically take control over wherever these things roll. So I'm like, is this maybe a thing too, where he's trying to brainwash people or like control people for his own, nefarious means? Kind of the way they did with the Securitrons, where obviously in the year 2287, when the game takes place, he's kind of a shriveled up body in like a, life support pod. So he's not a physical human walking around. So he's got his consciousness uploaded to this computer system, which again are linked to all the robots. So maybe this is that early idea of where like, well, I can just mind control people, and then like 200 years, I'll do it from a Wi-Fi signal, in essence. Maybe that's what that is.
Yeah, I want to get back to Walton Goggins for a second. He has that conversation with God, what the hell's her name? Starts with a B. I'm sorry, not B. M. Moldaver. Moldaver. In the diner. Yeah. And she's trying to get him to turn CI against his own wife, which he kind of scoffs at while his daughter's playing a game of Whack-A-Commie, which I saw that and I was like, I must have that video game. I must have that video game.
I would love to have that as a physical game.
So I can play Whack-A-Commie. But by the time he gets home and he's whacking down martinis and she walks in the door like nothing ever happened, he kind of, it looked to me anyway like he was ready to go ahead and turn informant on his wife. Like he had made the decision, he just hadn't come to grips with it until that moment. What do you think of that scene? Did you read that the way I did, or is there something else you think he's going to do?
I think maybe he kind of weighed the option out and thought, because he heard the conversation in that boardroom, and the words come out of his own wife's mouth that like, what if we just dropped the bombs ourselves? It's like, oh dear God. Which is kind of bad news bears for everybody.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, and she was also, I can't talk today. Also, like he said, was asking to spy on the most rich and powerful man in the world, basically, which is Mr. House. So he's like, yeah, that's one hell of a task. It might be a little easier to spy on his wife than, Mr. House. Believe you, me, and everybody. That's probably an easier step. Yeah, that may have been, because I love that. Like you said, she comes home, he downs the last of that martini, turns around just with that little charming smile. He's like, "Hey, welcome home." I'm like, "Oh God, yeah." I think he may be already kind of coming to terms with it. Like, there's more to this, and we don't even know if it was out of context or something. Like, I don't know if you say, "What if we dropped the bombs?" I think that's pretty well in context, but it's. With the tension again, with the lore of how the shit goes, and with the tensions that are going on, it's like you probably want to be sure, what these people are up to, because that sucks having it. I love that it's been a framing device throughout even season 1, and now it's like going back to the pre-war time of seeing just tidbits more and more of like what his wife's been involved with being in Vault Tech, because he's not really he's just kind of like the spokesman or like the kind of the face of it. So, but she's in it. She's in there. So, I don't know. You get a trip to Vegas out of it, like she said. Hey, go on that trip to Vegas. Like, yeah. Do some commercials for the Lucky 38 Casino. That'll work out. Which is where Mr. House is usually staying for about 200 years. I don't know.
How human is the ghoul in the game? Well, in the game, I guess it's probably a direct representation of that. How human is he still? Because he has this moment where he sees the drive-in marquee. He sees his own name up there, and there was an obvious moment where he was just kind of like, there was a reminder there. There was an emotion that he managed to keep suppressed to Lucy, but one that we can obviously see written all over his Red Skull looking face. How human is he still?
That's the thing about being ghoulified like that, it's like he's still. I mean, it is that you're just highly irradiated, and I do like that little tidbit where, like, because you can see there in that shot, you can kind of see like where the rope is
Yeah.
still burning his neck, and he pulls out that little machine and just like uses radiation to heal. I mean, that is how they work. The radiation is actually what heals them. So you're human for the most part, but I mean, you are just highly irradiated, and it's probably kind of one of the worst like hells imaginable that you're still having to again be alive for this whole time. And I can imagine after 200 some years, especially like that scene in season 1 like where he sits down in that in the super duper mart, and those guys were watching an old black and white movie of him, like seeing yourself from like 200 some years ago. It's part just like, Jesus, like where is the time gone? Like, what's, this is what I used to do. I used to just, do cowboy movies and I don't know, maybe it's just where the money goes, but then started being the face of and the spokesperson for Vault-Tec. Because I do like that there was that scene in the season 1, like where you see the the billboard and like Lucy sees it, and all of a sudden you just hear bam, he puts a hole through it, and it's like, oh yeah, he's trying to bury that bit, and he's just like, yeah, fuck these people, because that is kind of the sentiment if you really deep dive into Vault-Tec and what they were doing. That's a fair reaction. But yeah, maybe that is like, it's just that reminder that like, yeah, I used to this is what I used to be, but obviously I've been walking around shooting people, eating ass jerky, and whatever else he whatever else he does, and taking his drugs so he doesn't die. Because I mean, you will turn feral. Like, really, ghouls are just kind of, again, just people that are highly radiated. You still have your conscience, your memories, and all this other stuff you carry with you. Because feral ghouls have absolutely nothing. They're just, their mind's gone. They're just basically zombies, essentially. So it's still in there. It's like it still would be kind of jarring to just see your, like, a remnant of your past. And that shot, I'm glad you got that shot of the marquee, because I saw the big screen, and I was like, I saw the old school car speaker for a drive-in theater, and I was like, is that a Starlight Drive-In? Boom, next frame, Starlight Drive-In. I'm like, yes, I've got it. Because I'm like, those were in 4, which is in Boston, but whatever. I'm sure that's the same company name still. That was really cool to see a Starlight Drive-In. And also, there's apparently a vault hidden behind there. So, and the door was open, which is never a good sign. Every time you go into one, you're like, okay, what happened here? What was this one? Like, what was the experiment? How are the people still alive? And if they're alive, are they, in their right mind, or have they just gone completely nuts? Or a whole myriad of things. That's a fun Wikipedia dive.
Yeah, as they walk away from the marquee, they come across this guy who has had a very bad day. Walton Goggins obviously does not give 2 squirts shit about this guy, what he's been through.
Walking through him,
as he literally walks through his guts, which I thought was hilarious. And then they go find, I'm guessing, his mom, who offered them flea soup for only 2 caps. Only 2 caps.
Hey, that's a steal, man. 2 caps for a thing of soup. Hell yeah.
Hey, you know what though? It was fresh. You can't complain. It was fresh flea soup, the freshest flea soup you can get. As you walk up there, she's just literally doing this over the water to drop the fleas out of her hair into the soup. But so it's fresh. You got that going for you.
Isn't it nice when they make the food in front of you? You know it's good.
I know, it's good. But yeah, what else was I going to talk about? There was the scene in which they find the vault. Immediately after that. They obviously they go into this vault, and there is a message that Daddy has left for his daughter. Obviously he was been sitting there for a while waiting for Lucy to come in there so that he can I feel like he's intentionally pointing Lucy in the direction that she needs to go to find him. Like, he wants her to find him at least at some point so that he can try to bring her into what he's doing. What do you think of that whole scene, and how close does that resemble the games?
Well, like I said, when you go in there, and I think, because again, I know Lucy's the as I've said it before, the audience character. It's like she's not, she's not in with how this world works. She hasn't obviously been to the surface in her whole life. until this point. So, and I like that she asked the ghoul, like, "Oh, have you been to a lot of vaults?" You know, because that is kind of one thing. Like, well, we kind of have that in common. Like, I grew up in a vault, and there's plenty of them out here. And he's like, "Oh yeah, like," and it's kind of like I said, when you play the game, when you come across one, you're kind of like, okay, so what was the experiment? Because, like I said, Vault Tech was not necessarily offering shelter; they were experimenting on the people inside, which is horrifying. So that's your first. I was like wondering, so like, what was this? What happened to these people? I'm wondering if I didn't look it up because I think this is one unique to the show, but it may have been like a weird like propaganda thing, or unless that was part of the story when they said they were trying to, because Lucy said they were all Americans and they were trying to turn them into communists. So I'm like, that could have been a thing. But those people were pretty well past their expiration. And like I said, the very obvious. I wish I had a picture of it. Like the very obvious box of sugar bombs sitting on that table with the one light that still works sitting on it.
I almost got a picture. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna need that or not. Yeah, I should have grabbed it.
Yeah, because I'm like, that's a trap if I ever saw one. Because I'm like, Lucy, please don't be dumb. Don't grab it. And even the ghoul's walking towards. I'm like, dude, you know better for a fact. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, we got to see that mind control thing again, which I don't know if like did it. I don't know how that was working. Like, was it something he implanted into this guy's brain, like a message to tell him, and then this message went out self-destruct. Boom, there goes his head. Yeah, I don't know. That kind of felt like what when you go to vaults in the game, you're piecing together the story of like what happened to these people, or you may see some of the people, people like Gary. And again, if you play the game, you know who Gary is, and that shit still haunts you a little bit. So, it had to have been, like I said, it had to have been somewhat important to the, because since Lucy's dad went in there, unless he did that recently, because a ghoul said he got a guinea pig and stuck that poor guy in there and left him to give that message to Lucy for his I think you have a picture of it, don't you? For they saw the inside. Yeah, there it is. For they saw the inside of his brain.
Yeah.
A little too close.
I'm trying to find the picture of the
sugar bombs.
The sugar bombs sitting there. I've got the thing pulled up. I'm trying to find the right picture. That's not the vault yet. Because I get what you were saying. It was definitely something straight out of a video game, where it's like,
oh yeah, like that. That's the quest item. It's right there, right in front of your face. Oh.
Let me find this picture. I know I'm getting close to it. But yeah, so one thing I thought interesting, and there's a kind of a picture. Let me pull this one up. Oh yeah, that's just too obvious. I even label it in a way that you're going to kick out of. Give me a second.
Oh boy.
Wrong file. I need to get in here.
It's like me trying to set this up. Like, okay, where is it? Here. There's the picture. Okay.
I try to set up as much of this as I can, but yeah, I called it. It's a trap.
Yeah. Yeah. If you came into a room and like it was pretty well dark, and there's just this one little medical lamp looking down at this box of cereal, which literally was laid out. There was like, like I said, you had the James Woods, like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Like, Jesus Christ, guys. You know what? Oh God, did that happen in 3? I know it happens in New Vegas. There's I guess a long running joke that I think in most of these games, there's always somebody that runs up to you and says like, hey, oh my God, I need help. My wife is trapped, or my girlfriend needs help. She's up on the hill. The girlfriend, the family, they don't exist. The guy tries to turn. He's like, ha ha, I got you now. And then, you blow their head off in like 2 seconds because they're dumb. Like, really? I don't know if maybe that was a hint towards it, where it's like, hey, look, that's definitely I definitely need help. My family needs help. And then they try to rob you. And then again, you get a 44 Magnum right to the dome, which is usually the case. That happened in Outer Worlds as well, which is also made by Obsidian, who made New Vegas. I already was like, had my gun out. This guy's like, oh yeah, we're a bunch of refugees. We need help. We're over in this canyon. We're gonna starve. I'm like, why don't you lead the way, buddy? I'll see. And he fucking turns around like, yep, there it is. All right, we're doing this. Like, you know, gunsling them all. I'm like, yeah, all right, man. It never works. Don't try it.
Yeah, how long was that vault active? Because I feel like a lot of those bodies that were laying around watching the propaganda film have been there for a while.
Yeah.
But the guy that he leaves behind to leave the message for Lucy, I'm like, how long would that guy have just been sitting there waiting before she got there? Because assuming that at least he was alive when Hank went through there, he could have been, because this season picks up almost. Yeah, this season picks up almost immediately after the finale of the first season. There's not a whole lot of time between the last episode of season 1 and this one. So I'm wondering how long was that there? Was all those people dead when Hank got there, or did he do something? Because he talked, because when they first walk into the vault, the ghoul picks up that one like Russian winter hat.
No, the cap, yeah.
Yeah, the cap, and then they go down there and they realize, they even talk about it a little bit, how the purpose of this vault was to turn everybody communist. I don't know if it was that way from the beginning, or if that's just something that happened after the bombs all dropped and somebody got into the vault and decided to do this. But I mean, how was that one guy the only one that was there, or did Hank set all that stuff up?
He may have just been kind of the next vault in line of this path they're on. You know, like the ghoul said, maybe Hank caught himself a guinea pig to this poor guy to put this chip into his brain and have him sit there. And I mean, I was gonna say for how long? I mean, this is however long it took them to walk from Southern California to Vegas now, or at least outside of Vegas, right there. It looked like that vault was like right next to like the Santa Monica Pier or some shit. So you're going from like there to, you know, to Vegas. I don't know how far that's a trek. So,
well, drive time probably 5 hours, but that's driving. That's that's not having to cross an apocalyptic wasteland. But he does have the benefit of the Ironmonger suit, or whatever the hell it's called, to help him fly. So he might be able to do it a little bit more efficiently. But
you know, that was something else that I said, like from the game, like a game aspect. I know it's a game mechanic, but I was thinking about that suit. I'm like, man, that power core in that suit that's powering it, that seems to last quite a fucking while, doesn't it? Because I'm like, God damn, you walk 5 feet and that fucker just dies. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's a game thing, but we were kind of like, maybe that was what he was doing in the vault. Because she asked me that question. She's like, can you find those? I'm like, oh yeah, you can find them in vaults. They're in like generators and other power sources. Yeah, there's probably a couple in a vault. So I'm like, maybe that's also why he took a couple of power cores to keep his suit going. Because as we saw when he got there, he took it off in favor of another gray suit. That could have also been why.
And a heck of an accessory to go with it as well.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, maybe that guy was just a really unfortunate guy that's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he got, you know, chip put in his head to, you know, send a message and then self-destruct. But I'm trying to look for as for the vault. Okay, here we go. 24 was designed to preserve and continue research into mind control technologies. So yeah, it does have something to relate to it. With Vault Tech's experimental staff using Americans assigned to the vault as test subjects once the protocol was initiated. They experimented with a variety of surgical techniques and reconditioning. That's what you want. The most successful brain-computer chip interface was the black box. The American dwellers were fitted with this device and converted to communism. See, the thing that scares me is when you see the devices, it's like they were getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm like, oh, that's scary, because then you might notice that big thing on the back of someone's neck, but if you have something that you can just right into someone's head and it's no bigger than like a SIM card, like, yeah, yikes. Maybe they perfected it down a little bit. The vault failed. Yeah, no shit, as most of them did. By 2096, mummified corpses of vault dwellers littered the halls. Okay, so yeah, that's about... Yeah, so this had been going on. I think that guy may have just been wrong place at the wrong time more recently.
according to this. So
now we also got a little bit of screen time from the domineering wife and the sissy boy of a husband who's sporting a kid that apparently isn't even his. A kid she won't even name. She's just like, name the kid whatever. Just get the hell out of my office. I'm like, it's your kid,
Right?
You heartless bitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what do you think of this dynamic of this couple? I mean, I feel bad for the guy. He's such a weenie. He's such a soft ass, and she is obviously she's obviously a piece of shit. Compared to the game, give me a hint as to where this goes, because obviously they move over into Vault 32 to try to get that vault back together. She's obviously taken over as the overseer, kind of the manager of the entire vault. Give me a hint as to where that's going.
See, this is my rant now. I wish I was like, I would have watched the recap, but Amazon's lazy as hell, and they wanted to put AI stuff in there and also get things wrong from recapping season 1. So I'm like, I don't necessarily remember everything that happened, and I'm like, I'm trying to remember what happened to her. I know she was in that massacre when Moldaver and the Raiders came through, but I'm wondering, because she's, I don't know. I don't know if the husband has anything to do with it. This may be coming down to her more so. She clearly doesn't have the engineering skills or a hacking skill, because she's hunting and pecking on that damn terminal trying to get into it. I'm trying to remember which vaults are which now. Guys, hurting my brain because they were in 33. They went to 32. I'm assuming the brother's in 31.
Well, the brother is. I think I saw the vault door being marked 31. I don't know if any of these pictures that I got actually have a. You can't quite tell on that. It's a little blurred in the background. Maybe. No, this picture doesn't really do it much either. But was it an actual vault that he's in, or is that just some separate area that he stumbled into, where he found where they were putting all these other higher-ranking people from the company?
I want to say that was a vault, because I mean, in Fallout 4, there is a whole vault that is like that, where there's just cryopods that they put people to sleep in. So, if all three, because I think it was like the gimmick of all three of these vaults is they all kind of intermingle with each other. They have that one central, I guess, like meeting room, whatever, to trade and do commerce and all kinds of whatnot. So that, and they may have just been that, excuse me, that one that they unfreeze people every 30-some years, and they come out and do whatever the hell they're supposed to do. Which now they're getting taking a short nap, and they're gonna wake up rather early. I don't know. She's up to. I don't know. I'm interested in her character because I mean, there's something going on with her trying to get into this system. Because I think we even saw her brother doing some stuff like that last season, trying to figure something. There's still something about the other lady, the lady in the other vault, who's I guess now the overseer since Lucy's dad left. There's still something about her that I don't I don't trust.
Betty.
But clearly we had the budget for having AA meetings for inbreeding, so whatever that was supposed to be.
Yeah, I was trying really hard to think of a good Casey joke for that, but I wasn't coming up with anything off the top of my head.
Well, his chair's right there. You got plenty of room for you, buddy. Right there, next to the guy. That's you have to know that's clearly a thing that's probably going on, because you're in a vault with I think at max, I think it was supposed to be 1,000 people. Still not really a big gene pool,
True.
So to speak. So, and if you're a vault that also, again, you have generations of people in there, you're probably all related. It's slim pickings. So, and we already alluded to that with Lucy in season 1. So a lot of cousin stuff going on, a lot of banjos in these vaults. If that happened to be the case, I think, like we said, I think the vault they came across, even the ghoul said, that's probably one of the better case scenarios. It's the people were still alive, and they were doing experiments and shit where you have a Cyclops who exists, but there are control vaults. I mean, they're rare, but there are control vaults which are actually meant for the purpose of actually keeping people safe and surviving for so long until they can resurface. So it does happen, but more often the case is it's not that. It's some twisted experiment by Vault-Tec. So
maybe this is a detail I missed from the first season, but I don't know. I don't remember off the top of my head exactly how much screen time we've actually got of the powers that be planning this thing. But how long are they planning on waiting before after the bombs drop and the fallout is hopefully subsided to the point where they can deal with it? How long were they planning on waiting?
I think, oh God, it's usually because some did have different time lengths. So like, oh, we're going to open after this many years. We're going to open after this amount of time. And Vault 101 from Fallout 3 is like, oh, we're never going to reopen. You're born in the vault, you die in the vault, I think is what they said. So it kind of depends on the experiment, but I think that I feel like maybe a control vault, maybe it might tell me, but it's supposed to be, and they're also supposed to be equipped with the means to, start life again. Like that's what the GEC is, the Garden of Eden creation kit, which is kind of your your BS sci-fi MacGuffin of like, you take this,
it's their seed vault, so they can go back out there and restart life. Yeah,
you can go back out and recultivate the land and terraform it, because obviously everything's gonna be radiated and it, water's gonna be poisoned. So they all have this thing that they're meant to take up with them, and then just start life over again. I don't remember after how long, but like I said, the vaults were meant to last for quite a while. But again, we're plucking banjos, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's only so many things you can do with 1,000 people. I mean, that's even one of the things that happens early in the first season is Lucy was supposed to marry somebody from Vault 20 or 32, but they didn't realize that 32 had been compromised, and so instead of being someone that was supposed to help kind of thin out the gene pool a little bit, it ends up being some asshole that was trying to get in there and steal shit. So
okay. Excuse me. Although control vaults were designed to have no modifications affecting the vault's operations, they may have still had parameters of their own. That's kind of what I was saying. For example, Vault 76, which is from the game, Fallout 76, was mandated to open after 25 years for its residents to recolonize Appalachia. So, John Denver. That's not a joke. That is the theme song for that game. It's Country Roads. Tended to study their activity. Nuclear missiles. Yeah, we know how that works. I don't know. There's not really a time. It could be whatever parameters these vaults set out to do. Because like I said, some never opened or weren't meant to. That's kind of the whole thing in 3, where you're like, yeah, Vault 101 is not supposed to open. So why is my dad, who sounds like Liam Neeson, missing? Like, how do you get out? When? What the hell? So that's how you start that. You go out in a wasteland and try to find them. So, I could just look up a vault. I don't know. It depends. And I hate that that's my answer. It just depends.
How close has this series been to the game so far? Because we've had this discussion endlessly about Last of Us over 2 seasons as to how closely it compares to the game. How closely is this one comparing to the game as far as like a story structure?
For being its own, I like it. It is its own thing. It's kind of existing in the universe, and it's like, yeah, we know the story of like the. God, I'm gonna butcher all these names. Lone Wanderer, I think, is 3. The Courier is New Vegas, and Soul Survivor is 4. I'm trying to remember what the one from the very first game is, because there might be, again, I'm just a nerd. There might be kind of a hint to the first game, because they're, like I said, when they're in Vault 33 still, and they're like, "What are you working on?" Like, the water chip. They're like, "We're trying to fix that." I'm like, "Ah, that's what you were doing in the very first game. The problem was the Vault's water chip was on the fritz." So, Easter eggs. I almost said, what was the question? The game. It does like I said have the similar themes of like, you know, I've seen the comparisons of like Fallout 3, I'm gonna go find my dad. New Vegas. Well, New Vegas is who the hell shot me in the head? Is that one. You put on your knees and get a bullet to the brain pan, and you're like, okay, but I still live, and I gotta find out who that checkered suit wearing bastard was that shot me in the head. Fallout 4 is you're looking for your son, and then it had like someone had a picture of Lucy, like I'm looking for my dad too, you know. So kind of a similar story beat they've had for, you know, since the end of time, or the end times, I guess I should say. But it does kind of feel like it would be an adventure to go on, and again, it's the frustrating path of like, okay, let's try this, let's go here, let's try this, let's talk to these people, let's try this. No, thank you, ma'am. I don't want the flea soup. I don't want these. What do you call them? These matchy jacket motherfuckers. Is it called the cons? He says some of the funniest. He says some of the funniest shit. That's why he's the best. And yeah, and it's like it may lead you to a vault hidden behind the drive-in. So yeah, it feels like it is kind of like a long, a main story quest that's playing out. So, and the stuff like that I've already mentioned that I pick up on that I know are from the game, or just little Easter eggs towards stuff, or mechanics wise, like it's pretty on the nose, I think.
Let's talk about that final scene now, and when Daddy shows up to the home office, he finds some interesting visuals that leave us with some questions. Obviously, the device that House was using earlier in the episode, he sees that device along with several others that show that he is miniaturizing the device. I think that's probably just a harbinger of things to come, that maybe he eventually did or is currently got it to a level where it's a little bit more concealable and he can put it into people easier. But yeah, Hank definitely gets to the home office, puts on his nice shiny new suit, puts on his the gold pimp boy, as you called it earlier when we were talking.
Yeah.
And starts to leave a message, or at least try to send out a message to his boss from Robco. That obviously is a significant scene. I mean, I've seen the scene twice now already, and I can honestly say that I probably am missing a lot of context that you might be able to give me. Give me your thoughts on that scene and where it's going to be taking us in the future of season 2 and maybe beyond.
Yeah, if that isn't, I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's a Easter egg hint towards that, the gold, the pimp boy, as they call it, 3 billion, I think, is what they call it in New Vegas. That's a hilarious joke. If that isn't, if that's got to be what that's a reference to, because there is a solid gold pit boy you can get by doing a quest. There's a couple ways it can go, because you can side with different people, but there is a way to get it, and it's kind of funny. And if you have that Wild Wasteland perk, like when you pull it up, it's kind of like a pause menu. So when you pull it up and look at it, there's like funky music that plays if you have that perk. It's just goofy shit, I'm telling you. And you also, it's kind of funny because you hold it kind of canted, like sideways, like you're, you know, because you're a gangster. It's a little annoying to look at your screen though, and it's not straight up and down. It's like cocked to the side. I'm like, where on the map am I? God damn it, am I going the wrong way? Like, I got it once in the game, and I was like, okay, that was fun, but I'm never doing that again. It was a little bit annoying. But I think that might be a hint, Easter egg towards that, which is hilarious. As for, I was thinking about it there for a second. He may be talking to Mr. House, I would assume, whoever that his inside guy is here at Robco, because I'm assuming the only one who's kind of out and on the loose and said he's going to continue his work. I mentioned synths earlier a second ago. I'm like, you know, eventually to this point, like I said, we have synthetic humans, what they're called. Like, you could have like a whole race of people. That could be those little chips. That could be what's in these people's heads, and you could program these people to be however you want them to be. I mean, at first, yeah, you're sticking this big. Think of it like, hey, you got a big 80s brick phone on this guy's neck, and it's like, yeah, this will work. And then your technology goes far enough to where, yeah, you can just plant chips into people's brains, or basically you can just make people and have little Wi-Fi smartphones inside people's brains. So I don't know, maybe, yeah, that's kind of a scary notion that I think maybe they're trying to do some sort of weird mind control thing. Because like I said, Mr. House is a fucking dangerous person, I'm telling you. somebody who is trying to keep himself alive for that amount of time definitely has some crazy motives for doing so. So we'll see more. And like I said, a big question is like, so what's this have to do with? Like I said, I like it being its own thing, but like, what is it in the continuity of, like, say, the game? Because there's several different endings you could go with. Factions could go different ways too. Whoever you decide to help, whoever decided to help you. So I like that they haven't really mentioned that, because I'm like, well, we didn't actually mention that, like, anything about Mr. House, because that would be a big plot point. So I don't know. We're playing in the universe, and I kind of like that it is its own unique thing within that realm.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited as to where this season's going to go. I think this first episode, like I said, was a great. It was a great opportunity to kind of get immersed into the world again before we get into the really heavy shit. And asked a few questions that are going to be awfully fun to see answered later on. Let me ask you this real quick. I don't know how this is going to go compared to the game. You may have an idea, but at the same time, it's not a one-for-one, shot-for-shot remake of the game. At what point this season do you think that the ghoul will actually find his wife and or daughter? Do you think it's going to be like middle of the season, or is this something they're going to drag out for this entire season, and then maybe he finds him at the end?
I don't know. Because like I said, that story we're getting bits of, and it was this framing device that we've seen through season 1, and we're still seeing. So, I mean, I would hope you won't do it for too long. I would hope maybe now in like season 2, we've kind of this thing that we've built up this with him trying to find his wife and daughter. Maybe we get some answers. Maybe catch up to Hank. Maybe about the midpoint. Maybe some stuff that's kind of laid out, and then there's how we deal with it. Because like you said, I don't know how much this is going to change Lucy. That she's still like, when the ghoul asks her, like, she's like, what are you going to do? She's like, well, I'm going to bring him to justice. And he's kind of just like, just scoffs at her. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of with him. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to know what to say to him? Or like, you're not going to walk in there and just, shoot him in the ass as the ghoul keeps telling her. So, like I said, I do like that that's their dynamic. Like when they go to the fleet soup lady, like Ghoul puts his hand on his gun, and she's like, "Or we could just go talk to her." God damn! I'm like, yeah, different strokes, different folks, I guess. Here's how Fallout players are, and here's how we'd like to think we are.
Yeah,
a lot of times I'm just drawing on people. I don't ask too many questions if I don't have to. But speech options are always a plus. Trust me. I love putting stuff into speech because some hilarious stuff will happen. But again, if that fails, that's what you got the big iron for. Yeah, no, maybe halfway through, we might get some big revelations, and then we see how we're going to deal with this, or what this maybe means. Maybe there's some bigger thing to this that we'll come to see. I'm excited. I hope that comes to fruition at least at some point, or maybe we have some sort of revelation, and then maybe at the end he'll find them. Who knows? It'd be nice.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. So far, overall, only one episode in. Do you think we're headed in a good direction? Something that you're excited about for the season?
Yes, and I don't want to say I'm spoiled, but I mean, like when Stranger Things episodes are about 5 hours long, this episode went by like that, and I was really like, oh no. That was it already? I want more. What the hell?
Damn. Yeah, that's what we've gotten used to the last couple of weeks. Watching full-length movies that are episodes.
And you drop all of them, and I'm like, oh, I gotta wait till next week. I forget. I'm old enough to remember weekly TV episodes. Damn, I gotta suffer for a week, but it gives me a week to think about it. So I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm into it so far. I thought this episode was a great way just to kind of get back into the world, to kind of fully immerse ourselves in it again. I like the fact that Amazon is doing it the right way. One release every week on schedule. Yeah. That's the best way to do it. I don't like the fact that we're doing like 9 and 10 episode seasons of all this shit. I mean, because I'm old enough to remember a full 28 to 30 episodes of a series every season, and then having the spring and the summer off, and then coming back in the fall for the entire slate of all new shows to keep me going through the winter months. But that's just not the way things are done anymore, which is kind of sad. But whatever. As long as this stuff's still good. You talked about the episode going by kind of like that. It did, but I thought the episode was very well paced. There was a good. I mean, you start off with that kind of actiony thing, him having to kick everybody's ass, and then there's some good dialogue. There's the flashbacks I thought were done very well. I thought the episode was very well paced. I thought it was put together very well. And that's one of the things that this series has done very well is none of these episodes have dragged to me. I mean, it's been a while since I watched episode 1, but I am fully immersed and everything's happening at just the right pace just in every episode of this series so far. And that's one of the things that I think has been one of the things that has made the show so watchable. Other than the fact that the storylines are great, but I mean, it's there's not a lot of dead time. There's not a lot of wasted dialogue. It is very well structured television, which I really like.
And at the end, I still want more. I'm like, I have so many questions. I guess we'll find out next week.
This makes me wonder if maybe the whole formula for video game-based stuff wasn't all along, don't try to make movies out of them, try to make series.
Yeah, because you play a video game for 10, 12, sometimes 15 hours. I mean, like a main storyline. I mean, you can dick around in a game like this for hours and hours and hours on end. It's open world. You can do your own thing. So when you have that much content and that long of a storyline that you're going to play out, like it lends itself to being an episodic, adventure. So I do like that. Like I said, it has been this continuous. It felt like a storyline of like, a game playing out. So it's doing something right.
Yeah, but I'm excited, Jeremy. I know you're excited too. You've been chomping at the bit to get back into the world of Fallout. You've been ready to go. This has been something you've been eagerly anticipating for the last several weeks as we've gotten closer and closer, and now we're finally here. So Jeremy is definitely in his element now. so he will be the expert that I draw off of every time we talk about Fallout for the next probably a month and a half or so. But and then there's that. Yep. See, he's ready to go. He's ready for the bombs to fall.
Oh yeah, just put this baby on, and I actually do. Maybe I'll do a because by the time it'll be here, it'll probably still be in this show. I did order something else that will definitely go along with this very nicely on this back shelf here. I don't know what to do. Actually, that's a funny Fallout joke. Look, it's Liam Neeson.
It just worked out that way.
I'll find a place for this stuff. There's something that might be related to this. Maybe it was the little tune we heard in the very beginning of this episode. So if you know, you know. I just gave you all the information you needed. I'm gonna put this thing back.
I am kind of jamming to some of the music too.
I was gonna say that last. I was like, you know what? And also the soundtrack. Oh my god! I hope there's a vinyl of this one too, man. We got Marty Robbins, Ink Spots, Roy Orbison.
There was some good stuff. Yeah, they finished the episode on some old Roy Orbison, and I was like, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Working for the man.
Yeah. but it's been a good start to season 1, good start to season 2. Again, picks up right after season 1. Not a lot of lag time between the seasons, so there's not a lot of explaining where people are. You're just kind of like right there, pretty much where we left off at the end of last season. It's interesting. I'm interested to see where all this goes. I like the fact that they're exploring the world more and getting into New Vegas. I think altering the setting and moving the settings through the games the way they did is going to be the right way to do this for the series as well. But yeah, I'm excited as to where all this goes. I'm looking forward to getting what's his name? He wasn't even in this episode. The black guy who takes over the suit.
Max.
Yeah, him.
I'm hoping we get to see what he's been up to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting him back through all this and to getting some more answers. We'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Thanks to all of you watching. We have plenty of people watching tonight. We have 60, almost 70 people watching on Twitter. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Hopefully you'll consider following us on YouTube, or more specifically Rumble, since I'm kind of focusing more on growing Rumble right now than I am YouTube. I can give a rat's ass about YouTube. I don't want their money. But yeah, come back and catch up with us probably next week. Not likely going to be a show on Thursday for obvious reasons. It's December 25th, and we're not going to do anything. If I get home early enough, I may do a little bit. I know that the guys weren't too keen on doing it. Yeah, I know that the guys weren't too keen on doing an Avatar review. I actually went and saw Avatar the other day, and it's good, but it's not like great. I still think the franchise as a whole is wildly overrated, even though it's good. It's a good movie. Maybe I'll go live Thursday night on my own, give you some quick thoughts about Avatar, maybe take some questions, bitch a little bit about how really lame the Avengers Doomsday teaser really was. It's absolutely nothing.
Come on.
It's absolutely
Back,
nothing.
baby.
Yeah, but I mean, there's just nothing there that's really exciting. I don't think that any of these trailers are really going to be that much. I think they hyped us up to piss us off just to get us talking about it. I don't think pissing us off is going to be a good way to build hype for Doomsday, but whatever, Disney. You're apparently smarter than I am, so do what you're going to do there, Mouse. I don't know. Well, whatever. Anyway, the movie
like that, yeah.
The movie was decent. I'm not going to knock it, but it's still just Avatar. Visually stunning, but the rest of it's kind of average. This movie was a little bit of a step back in a couple places. Still enjoyable, but a little bit of a step back from the last one in a couple places. I'll go into some more detail once I do my own little mini review on it. But Jeremy, you have a good holiday, my friend. We will be back here. Let's see. One other thing happening on Thursday is they're dropping 3 more episodes of Stranger Things. So we're going to be all Stranger Things, all Fallout for the rest of this year and into January before we take our little week or so sabbatical and kind of recharge and figure out what reviews we've got coming up in 2026. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you to my friend Jeremy for being here as always and for lending us his expertise on everything Fallout. Yep, he's our guy. So anything video game, movie related, that's gonna be my go-to right there. We will see you guys probably next Tuesday for the next episode of Stranger Things, episode 5. Until then, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks everybody watching us on Twitter. Appreciate it. Adios. I mean, flea soup? They're perfect. You actually can't eat these things called sand fleas. They're not really small. So. Yeah, you can actually cook them. They're like and shell them kind of like shrimp. Not that I would be in a big hurry to eat those unless I was getting ready to starve to death. But it's out
well,
there.
She didn't really cook them. I think she kind of just gave them a la sushi in a bowl.
The water was boiling. They boiled. Cut her some slack.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.